John Barry Meachum, a highly skilled craftsman, used his trade to purchase his freedom and the freedom of his family. Ordained in 1825, he established the first African Baptist church where he offered free classical and vocational education to both free and enslaved black people. Meachum's carpentry business was successful enough for him to purchase and free 20 additional enslaved black people. He trained each in carpentry and other trades so that they could support themselves. Nearly every individual repaid Meachum, allowing him to free others. In 1847, Missouri banned all education for blacks. Meachum responded by equipping a steamboat with a library, desks, and chairs, and opened the floating Freedom School on the Mississippi River beyond the reach of Missouri officials. You are listening to Black History University, powered by the gist of freedom is still faith. Please visit blackpast.org for additional exciting Black history stories. Meachum was born enslaved in Goochland County, Virginia, on May 3, 1789. Meachum, a highly skilled craftsman, earned enough money from carpentry to purchase his freedom and, soon after, the freedom of his father. In 1815, before Meachum had earned the necessary funds to purchase his wife's freedom, she was moved to St. Louis. He followed her there and then purchased her freedom with his earnings. In St. Louis, after being ordained in 1825, Meachum officially opened the first African Baptist church. Through the Church Meachum began offering religious and secular education to free and enslaved black Saint Louisans. Meachum School attracted up to 300 pupils and did not charge tuition to those who could not afford it. Although white Missourians had initially supported black schooling, racial tensions arose and led many of them to see educated blacks as a threat to slavery. Around the time Reverend Meachum opened his school, St. Louis passed an ordinance prohibiting free blacks from receiving an education. Meachum and his wife also facilitated the Underground Railroad through their home and their church. His carpentry business was successful enough for him to purchase and free 20 enslaved black people. In St. Louis, Meachum trained each in carpentry and other trades so that they could support themselves. Nearly every individual repaid Meachum, allowing him to free others. Despite his work to free Missouri slaves and educate blacks, Meachum's views on education and black equality anticipated those of Booker T. Washington a half-century later. Black people needed practical hands-on education so that when freedom came, the race would be ready to utilize that freedom. Reverend Meachum illustrated this view in an address to all of the colored citizens of the United States, a pamphlet printed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1846. Left a lasting impact on education. His school educated hundreds of free blacks and slaves, including James Milton Turner, who after the Civil War would found Lincoln Institute, the first school of higher education for blacks in ME. The work of Meachum and his wife on the Underground Railroad is now commemorated at the Mary Meachum Crossing in St. Louis, where the two led slaves across the Mississippi River to freedom in Illinois. The First African Baptist Church, now the First Baptist Church, continues to operate in St. Louis. John Barry Meachum died at his pulpit on February 19, 1854.